There's lots of them. So this is balance changes for the public test 14.7, and they're going to take effect on July the 24th, which is what? Today. Test server will be up again this evening, I guess, after the official stream. It is Thursday today, isn't it? Right. Captains are applying balance changes to a number of ships based on the analysis of both their combat statistics and player feedback. These changes will take effect on July 24th. Agano, Tier 5 Japanese cruiser. Main battery reload time decreased 8.5 to 7.8. I remember this being not a great ship. Detectability range by sea decreased 11 to 10.5. So that's a comfortable. I-56, which I never play. A hydrophone is being increased to 9 kilometers, cooldown time reduced from 80 to 300 to 30 seconds, and given an extra one up to 5. Hydrophone is the one that spots ships, yeah, rather than sub-surveillance. Harugamo, this is quite a big change. I'm surprised about this. Main battery shell ballistics change. Their trajectories will now be flatter, and the rudder shift will be reduced from 5.4 to 4.8. Surprised it's needed, but this will make range farming in this thing much easier. Shinano. Maximum aerial torpedo damage reduced 7233 to 6533, and the AP skip bomber damage reduced 6800 to 6100. Still going to be brutal, but anything helps. It's a horrible ship to face if you're in a cruiser. FR25, the SAP shell damage increased 2700 to 2900. Again, small quality life improvement. Piemonte, one of the worst performing super ships. Main battery parameters changed. Range increased 7.8 to 18.7. SAP damage increased 700 to 7,500. Max AP damage increased 61 to 6,750. Initial shell velocity increased to 1,000. As a result, shells with flatter ballistics and increased AP shell penetration. I think this one needed a bit of help. I don't know too much about it. I'm not sure I've ever played it. The Vriesheid airstrike reload time increased 38 to 48. Maximum bomb damage increased 58 to 6,600. Fire chance increased 33 to 38, and armor pen capacity increased 37 to 34 to 37. So you'll be spamming less planes, but do more damage and set more fires when you do. I think that's probably fair. It is a buff on a sub, yeah, indeed. Jarsfeld. HE airstrike parameters changed. Reload time increased 55 to 73. Bomb damage increased 58 to 6,900. Bomb fire chance increased 33 to 39. Armor pen 34 to 37, so similar like the Vriesheid. Cohorn. Reload time increased to 67. Bomb damage increased to 6,900. Fire chance increased to 39. And armor pen increased to 37. And the Utrecht. Reload time increased to 60 from 45. Bomb damage increased from 58 to 6,900. Fire chance up to 39 from 33. And armor pen up to 37 from 34. So basically they've given them more damage but less planes flying at you. I think that psychologically will be a better for the people on the receiving end. Lahadi torpedo parameters changed. Researchable torpedo maximum damage reduced 19,200 to 17,467. Torpedo damage scaling by distance changed. Torpedo damage at their maximum range increased from 40% to 55%. So it still favour you doing close range damage, which you'll do less of, but at longer ranges you will do more. La Ventura stock torpedo max damage reduced. Researchable torpedo damage reduced from 21,367 to 19,533. And again, the scaling has changed, so that's now increased up to 55%. Orange is getting a reload buff from 4.3 to 4. Again, similar with the torps, the max damage on the stocks has been reduced from 21,367 to 19,533, and on the researchables 23,400, 21,467. Scaling again 55% instead of 40, and max range Cassard, same deal. Max torps reduced from 24,367 to 22,233. Torpedo damage at their max range increased 40 to 55, so it's the same on all of them. Make them more comfortable to play, I suppose. To be honest, I don't think it'll make a massive difference to the play style at all. Picardy, which we've been discussing recently as one of the worst battleships in the game. Sigma increased 1.5 to 1.7, and the ballistics change the trajectory will now be significantly flatter, so it should actually be easier to hit targets with it. Alsace getting a reload buff from 32 to 30 seconds. Hawkins, I do quite well in Hawkins and I quite like it, but it's getting a buff. 10.5 to 9.9 second reload. Undine, torpedo parameters changed. Stock torps maximum damage increased 5933 to 6533, and therefore the researchable torps are going from the 6533 to 7233. Sturdy, stock torps getting a buff on the damage. Researchable torps also going from 7100 to 7833. Thrasher, stock torpedo maximum damage increased 6800 to 7833, and the researchable torp max damage increased 8167 to 8967. I need to check if I didn't realise you could have researchable torps on a tier 10 sub. I better check, because I've actually got them. I might have been playing it all this time without, in the few games I've played, without upgrading the torps. Halford, range increase on the main battery from 10.2 to 12.1. Reloading decreased 3.2 to 2.8. Oh, that's a big buff. And the ballistics trajectories will now be flatter, and the number of aircraft per squadron increased 4 to 5. We'll have to give Halford a go. Humphreys getting a reload buff from 3 to 2.7. The L-20 tier 8 Soviet sub is getting a speed buff from 28 to 29. I'm assuming that's on surface, is it? Grozovoy is getting a big reload buff. Main battery reload time decreased 4.2 to 3.7. I think that gets a legendary mod that increases its reload as well. I'd have to double check. Chunking, main battery reload time decreased 7 to 6.5, and torpedo launcher reload time decreased 115 to 98 seconds. Wujing, main battery reload time. It's an Alsace, isn't it? The Wujing, I think. And in parallel is getting a reload reduction, time reduction 32 to 30. Uganda, reload time decreased 6 to 5.6. Stock main battery range increased 14.1 to 14.4, and researchable main battery gun range 15.5 to 15.8. And the Schultz, which is one of the worst performing tier 9 destroyers, maximum speed increased 36.5 to 37.5, and the turning circle radius increased. Speed buff, turning nerf, 800 to 810. I think all in all, there's some good changes in here. I don't know much about the sub stuff and whether that's going to make much of a difference, but I like the idea of these being able to play them at a bit further range and still doing better damage on the French split, the torpedo line. And I like the changes to the Dutch light cruisers. That, yeah, they'll do more damage and set more fires if they hit you, but the planes are going to be coming far less often. It's knocking a third onto, basically adding a third to their bomb time. So all in all, good change. I'll be interested to see them in the game. What are your thoughts?